What the move is back uncommon sense video reaction. You see the title and what it is. Let me move this mic closer, man. See, yeah. That's a little better. You see what the title is. We're finna talk about that guap, that moolah. You feel what I'm saying? Them pesos for my amigos. You feel what I'm saying? Money, man. The favorite subject, topic, motion for everybody. Money. We got to have it. We need it. We always thinking about it. We always in motion for it. It makes people do crazy things like rob, steal, kill. It makes people do things like get up early in the morning and drive way on the other side of town every morning, 5-6 days a week for hours to go get it. Money, man. It's like money controls us. Seem like to me. You know what I mean? Everybody do everything for it. It's one of people's favorite topics. Money. Some people, they think money makes them better than everybody because they have it. The ugliest nigga can turn into the handsomest man with the stacks of money. You feel what I'm saying? So, money controls us, man. Is that not a fair statement to make? Because when you don't got it, you're stressed out. And really, you have no other reason to be stressed out. You're healthy. You're living fine. You got a roof over here. Everything's cool. Your children are healthy, fine, and happy. But if you have no money and you got all that, for some reason, you're still depressed. It's crazy, like, for real. Money really controls us, so you already know. Here on Uncommon Sense, we got to question everything. You hear me? We gonna question everything. So, since money control us, who the hell control money, man? We finna ask some questions, man. Like, come on, man. I'm getting up every morning going crazy about this money. It stays on my mind. I need it to live. I feel like it's everything. The more I have, the more secure I feel on this planet in my life. So I got to know a little bit more about this money. We must know a little bit more about money, man. So, I got to question the money. Like, okay, for real. Now, I do know this fact. I've been knew this fact. And when I found this out, blew my mind. When I found out the government doesn't own money, because when I was little, little kids think, you ask them, where money come from? You'd be like, the government? You be like, yeah, no, they're not the ones. And I found out, I'm like, what the hell? Okay, if money don't come from the government, where is it coming from? And that's when I found out about a little thing, or I ain't gonna say a little thing, a large thing, a very large thing, a company called the Federal Reserve. So, I already knew that fact, but this video is for the people that don't know nothing about these facts, that still think if you ask them, where money come from? And you're going to say, man, the government, you know what I'm saying? The government, no. The government owes these people. And we finna find out who really control and run money. And that's what this video about, man. So, no more talking. Let's get to the money. You dig?
So who controls all of our money? It's a simple question. We all know that you and I don't control it. Our employees don't control it. The companies that they work for don't control it. So who does? Where does it even come from in the first place? I'll give you a hint. Money does not come from the government. It's a...
The man said, I give you a hint. Money does not come from the government. All right. Okay. All right.
Seemingly obvious question that's never asked or taught in schools for some reason. Unfortunately, most people's lives are basically dedicated to money. It's all people ever worry about or talk about. We go to school to learn basically how to go to university, to learn the skills to get a good job so that we can trade hours of our lives all for this thing called money. So why wouldn't you want to know where money comes from and who issues it? Today, in this very special video, you're about to find out the answer to the question of who controls all of our money. People today can tell something isn't quite right with our financial system, but they just can't put their finger on it. Some people think it's the failure of government, others think that it's the failure of capitalism itself. This video should clarify a few things.
This is crazy, man.
The year is 1694, and England had just suffered through 50 years of war. Exhausted, the English government needed loans to fund their political means. Brainchild of Scottish banker William Paterson, it was decided that a privately owned bank that could issue the money to the government out of thin air was to be the solution. This was the very first modern.
This man came up with the solution. He said, we're a private bank. If we can start printing our own money and giving it to the government, that's the solution, boy. We gonna come up out of what we got going on. They over there fighting in England. They over there thugging. You feel me? And they getting their ass whooped. So they had to come up with a solution. And one of the private, see, first of all, this is what y'all must know about banks. You yourself can own any type of company you want. Any type of company. You can own a bank. You can own a prison. That's a whole nother part. Like, that's a whole nother video. I got one on these prison things. It's crazy. You can own your own prison. Okay? You better ask Escobar. Okay? As long as you know a nigga that owns his own prison. Escobar. You can own your own prison. You and a group of your partners can get together and buy your own and get your own private business bank. It doesn't have to be issued from the government. Okay? So somebody private banker, somebody who owned their own bank in England said, you know what? You know what we need to do? We need to come up with our own money and make it official and sell it to the government. And we just gonna print it out of nothing. We just gonna make this money out of thin air. And guess what they did?
Central banking system in the world. Central banking is more influential than laws, governments, and politicians, but strangely not the focus of the general public. Fast forward to the early 20th century, and after 2 failed attempts, a group of bankers wanted to put a central bank in the United States of America. It was December of 1910, and Senator Nelson Aldrich boarded a private train car in New York with 6 others. The 6 were not to be spotted by any news reporters to avoid questions.
Pause right here. Remember these 6 people. Look at these names, bro. Remember these names, bro. 6 bankers came over here from England. They had already tried to put a bank here and get money to them. It didn't happen. So they kept trying and came over here from England. All right.
Their destination? Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia. The meeting went for 9 days, and from that, they created the Federal Reserve System. This is all documented and a matter of public record. Some of them went on to write about the meetings in their personal biographies. Here's a quote from Frank Vanderlip, president of the National City Bank of New York, February 9th, 1935, in the Saturday Evening Post.
I was as secretive, indeed as furtive as any conspirator. Discovery, we knew, simply must not happen, or else all our time and effort would be wasted. If it were to be exposed that our particular group had got together and written a banking bill, that bill would have no chance whatever of passage by Congress.
The 6 men that Nelson Aldrich brought together included the head of banks, branches of government such as the Treasury, and some of the richest people on earth at the time. To give you an idea of how rich they were.
So their little gang, the gang was some people out the government, some people out of banking, and some of the richest people in the world out of 6. But your clique so strong, out of 6 people in your squad, out of your gang, and there's only 6 of y'all. One of you, some of y'all bankers, some of y'all government, and some of y'all just billionaires back in the early 1900s. Man, come on. You can't beat this gang. I don't care what your gang got going. You ain't no gang stronger than this gang.
In 1910, these 6 men represented a quarter of the world's worth. The bankers told the American public that the purpose of the system was to stabilize the economy and to stop the grip of the Wall Street banks over America. The problem was, the guys that wrote the bill were the very same people they said they'd stop. If they succeeded, it will give a small group of men the ability to create money from nothing and loan it to the American government with interest.
Bro, this man just said the bill they wrote was claiming they were going to stop the people that they are. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's like saying, I finessed you. I'm saying this bill is going to protect you from the enemy, but I am the enemy. So it's really not going to protect you. I'm just telling you this so I can take over. I am the enemy that I'm claiming that I'm stopping. Okay, all right.
So why was it done in secret? Because the American people didn't want a central bank. Back then, unlike today, people knew what central banks were and understood them very well. Everywhere a central bank went, there'll be wealth inequality, wild swings between economic booms and busts, and after each bust, those at the top of society mysteriously came out richer while everyone else got poorer. Europe was the running example of this at the time. The Federal Reserve was originally drafted as the Aldrich Bill, but when it came into Congress, they recognized Senator Aldrich's name and smelt a rat. The bankers needed better cover. They decided to send 2 millionaire friends to carry the bill to quell the suspicions of Congress and renamed it the Federal Reserve Act.
Bro, these boys so slick. After they seen the head dude out the squad name on the bill, they're like, no, he already flawed. We already know he be up to something. So they're like, okay, cool. Took his name off of it and just renamed the whole bill the Federal Reserve Act. Made it sound good. See, that's the same capping folks be doing now, making things sound good. It ain't nothing. You better go look at some of these laws and bills. They might put your favorite person's name on that law or bill just to make it sound good so you can sign it and you don't even know the details of it, and now it got you thrown off in jail because on some laws that you helped pass. They'll make something sound good just to get it passed, man. The Federal Reserve Act. Are you serious? Of 1913. So before 1913 and all this, they wasn't even using money. So money is only like 100 years. The way we know money ain't number like 100 and a couple plus years old, bruh. We weren't even going by this system. We wasn't even going by this system a little over 100 years ago. It's crazy to me. Man, we gotta learn about money, man. Y'all gotta learn about some money. They print money out of thin air from nothing. It's nothing. Money is literally nothing. They're just printing pieces of paper and selling it to people.
Next, in a textbook lesson of deceit, the bankers set out to fool the American people through disinformation. In the newspapers of the day, the bankers screamed and protested against the new Federal Reserve Bill. It would ruin the banks, they exclaimed. The average person read the protesting articles of the bankers and thought to themselves, if the bankers hate it, it must be good. And then they ended up unknowingly supporting a Trojan horse. The bankers also...
That's how stupid we are. That's how stupid we are, bro. All they said, yeah, it's gonna hurt the bankers. They are the bankers. They are the enemy. They're not going to hurt the bankers. It's going to help the bankers. And then they went and put it in the newspaper, and everybody went and read the newspaper and was like, oh, if it's going to hurt the bankers and help us, yeah, I'm going to sign for it. Pass it. Fool, they are the bankers. It's not going to hurt them. They set you up. The okie doke, the flam, the bamboozle, the cap, the finesse, man. They finessed us into using money the way we use money right now. And they got shit all thrown off, bro. Just so they can... ruled
Congress by putting clauses in the bill that limited their power, only to remove them once the bill was passed. A double head fake of the public and Congress was all it took. The bill was passed on December 23rd, 1913, while most of Congress was out on holiday. And with that, a small group had complete monopoly over the issuing and creation of American money. Today, the Federal Reserve is the most powerful entity in the United States, and they're not ashamed to admit it either. Here's former Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan.
What should be the proper relationship between a chairman of the Fed and a president of the United States?
Well, first of all, the Federal Reserve is an independent agency, and that means basically that there is no other agency of government which can overrule actions that we take. What the relationships are don't frankly matter.
In addition to this, it seems that the Fed can't even be touched by investigating parties.
So I'm asking you if your agency has, in fact, according to Bloomberg, extended $9 trillion in credit, which, by the way, works out to $30,000 for every single man, woman, and child in this country. I'd like to know, if you're not responsible for investigating that, who is?
We have responsibility for the Federal Reserve's programs and operations, audits, to conduct audits and investigations in that area. In terms of who's responsible for investigating, would you mind repeating the question one more time?
Mr. Chairman, my time is up, but I have to tell you honestly, I am shocked to find out that nobody at the Federal Reserve, including the Inspector General, is keeping track of this.
So what does all of this have to do with me, you might be asking? I don't even live in the US. Well, 2 reasons. Number 1, the central banking model from the Bank of England and the United States has now been put in all countries, and even consolidated power in parts of Europe as the European Central Bank, or ECB. This unites separate countries under one economic policy. The only places in the world that don't have central banks are North Korea, Iran, and Cuba. In 2000, this list suspiciously included Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya. And number 2, since the end of World War II, the US dollar has been the reserve currency of the world. This means that all central banks hold US dollars in their reserves. In other words, all other currencies are backed by the US dollar. This directly links your country to the Federal Reserve's monetary policy in America. More on this later. When the post-World War II monetary...
Okay, all right, that's enough. That's enough. So basically, oh my God. So basically, these folks then found a way to cap the world down. Not only the U.S. is they baby. Then they took that, ran it up, and now they capping the world down. And then you heard the man just say about the other countries. So if you ain't got a central bank or some type of U.S. money in your reserve for your country, we coming to get it, and then we gonna flip it. You just heard him say Iraq and back in 2000, and then after the war. Anyway, we don't even get, look, man, money, man, look. Money is cap. Literally, these people are printing money up out of thin air, controlling it, and selling it to the government. The government owe them. So when you hear to say the country's in debt, and I want to be like, in debt to who? I thought the country was the country owns its own money. No, it doesn't. They are buying money from the Federal Reserve. 6 people in this gang that's running it up. You feel me? Crazy. Look, man, I hope you learned something from this video. Now you know the real move about money is not all what it's cracked up to be. Wow. If you ain't learned nothing, man, go research this, bro. I hope this encouraged you to tap into some more uncommon sense about this money subject, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, and speaking of uncommon sense, you know what I mean? Please subscribe, hit that notification bell. We dropping nothing but informative bangers. You deal what I'm saying? But then we ain't on no corny shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm really like trying to help my folk to what's going on. Like, we been capped down by everything. It's a lot of uncommon sense in common sense situations. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I'm here for, man. So hit that subscribe. Man, look, I'm trying to reach, we just jumping off the porch. So I'm just trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. Can we do that, please? Can we make that happen? Because I'm going to keep making y'all hip to all this cap that's been going on about everything. And it ain't just got to be about, all these other stuff. It's going to be about regular, everyday things too, man. Just let's find some common sense in uncommon things, man. You know what I'm saying? So let's get to the 1,000 subscribers. It's not hard, man. Let's get to that. I know we can do it. hit that notification bell so every time I do drop one, because I'm gonna be dropping them frequently. I don't know exactly when, and you see my IG right here. You know what I'm saying? Follow me, Z the Alien, you know what I'm saying? And you'll see some good work on there. I am an artist and I go crazy. I do a lot of other things besides just this, but I am very passionate about hipping people to things I think we need to be hip to. And that's what Uncommon Sense about, man. So tap into this money situation, man. Let's find out what's going on with their money, bro. You dig? Pop my shit. Yeah, I'm pop my shit. Nigga been having, you ain't got it like this. Young nigga be hating, you ain't got it like this.